Welcome to Every Step of the Way, inspiring stories from Children's Aid, the official podcast of Children's Aid, where we shine a light on the uplifting stories from our vibrant community. Co-hosts Georgia Boothe and Sandra Escamilla will be your guides through the heartfelt journeys of alumni, staff, and supporters who have all played pivotal roles in our mission. In our first series, I'm a Children's Aid Kid, we'll delve into the lives of our remarkable alumni, exploring how the support and guidance from Children's Aid help them overcome challenges and achieve their dreams. Join us as we celebrate resilience, success, and the enduring impact of Children's Aid.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Every Step of the Way. Today, I'm here with my colleague, Sandra Escamilla, and we're going to be speaking with our director from our Milbank Center, Casper Lassiter. Are you excited, Sandra, that we're going to be talking with Casper today?
Most definitely. Georgia, Casper has been here for over 4 decades. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he is the epitome of positive youth development. I can't wait to hear just his journey at Children's Aid and for him to share some of the impact that he's had on the children, youth, and families in Harlem.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear what he has to say, too. Casper is such a rock star at Children's Aid and has such a tremendous impact on so many young people over the years. I'm just looking forward to his insights.
Welcome, Casper. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, very excited to be in the chair and tell my story on the Children's Aid podcast. This is going to be fun.
Great. And before we get into kind of your experience at Children's Aid, which you spent most of your life here, most of your young adult and adult life here, I want you to tell us a little bit about your background before you got involved with Children's Aid. What was your life like before you got to Children's Aid?
Well, to be honest, I didn't have a lot of structure, so to speak. So actually, my life changed at 9 years old when my mom decided to let me stay with my grandmother, who actually lived in the high rise right next to Milbank. So that was really my invitation to Milbank. So if I didn't get the opportunity to kind of leave that environment and come over to a more structured environment with my grandmother, I probably would have never walked into Milbank doors. So it was a blessing. And once she signed me up, I was hooked.
You live right in the apartments next to Milbank?
Yeah, I grew up right next door.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that big building on the corner, that's where I grew up.
And just for the folks who are here, what street is that?
That's 118th, 8 West, 118th. We call the building 8 West.
So, Casper, can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Children's Aid and your journey with us to date?
Sure. So I guess it all started, like I said, when I moved over to 118th Street from 113th Street to my grandmother's house. I was right next door to Milbank, saw kids going in, and I decided to try it myself and try out for the basketball team. That was my first entry point, was trying out for the basketball team at 9 years old. And once I became a part of the team, I was introduced to everything that Children's Aid offered back then, which was mainly after school programming. So I got involved in that. And as I got older, that's really when my life began to shape because, Dr. Michael Carrera introduced his Family Life and Sex Ed program at Milbank in East Harlem in the mid-'80s. And I was a part of the first generation of that program. And that's where kind of, I guess, my career path took off, where I was introduced to so many things outside of the neighborhood. Because you got to remember what was going on 118th in 1986. Milbank was the brightest spot on the block. I mean, it was the middle of the crack era, so it was a lot of things going on within the block with, my family, the community. So Milbank kind of was my safe space because it was nothing but positivity inside the building, positive role models, resources that I had access to. So it was really a blessing for me to be involved. And Doc taught us so much about ourselves, how to be resilient, and how to get off the block, which I think was very, very important. We were introduced to college by working at Hunter College. We were introduced to different sports by playing squash in Midtown. It was just so many opportunities that I didn't realize were there until, I was part of Dr. Carrera's program. And I'm always grateful to Doc for kind of, showing me the light that there was possibilities beyond 118th Street. And that's something that I probably kept with me as I moved in my service journey, was giving young people the opportunity and showing them there are resources beyond their blocks.
Can you say a little more about that point of tension? Because it was the 80s, right? Which Georgia and I are also very familiar. We're the same generation. So here you are going to Milbank and you're getting all of these resources, but you're also getting pressure, right, from the streets.
Of course.
Tell me, what was it about Milbank? I mean, I heard generally some of the kind of opportunities, but what was it that was much more attractive to you than, a lot of folks our age
Right.
decided that the street had a larger
Right.
purpose or calling, right? So can you talk about that a little bit?
And this is something that I think has always happened to me, is that adults around me always guided me. They always saw something in me and they kind of protected me. I remember Mr. Lou from Milbank gave me my first job. Out of all the young people that were playing in the basketball program on the weekends, he chose me to sell hot dogs with him on the weekends during the game, right? Doc chose me to go to Hunter College to work while everyone else worked in Milbank. Selling hot dogs, I got the opportunity to go to Hunter College to work for 2 years. So I don't know if it was the energy or what have you. I just was always in the right place and the right time. And folks just took a liking to me and saw that I had potential. I didn't realize that I had potential because when I left Milbank, I had friends that were doing things, but I was in sports, I was in basketball. So I was kind of protected, so to speak. I was good at basketball, so the older cats kind of looked out for me, and I always appreciated that, when things were going left, they would pull me to the side and say, all right, Cass, you go up the block, or you go in the house, or go back into Milbank. So I kind of had that village piece, not only from the adults, but some of the older cats in the neighborhood. They kind of protected me and looked out for me. And, and I'm always grateful to my Harlem community for that. And I tell these guys to this day, because I still see some of them still come around, and I thank them all the time for looking out for me. And that's another thing that I try to tell young people. If I'm on you, if I'm in your ear all the time, that means that I care. The day I stop doing that is when you need to worry. So it was like a community effort, just seeing that I have potential, that I may have the opportunity to get out, and just folks just helped me along the way. And I'm always going to be appreciative of that.
I love that. Did you ever imagine while you were there, 9 years old until fast forward, present, any point in your earlier journey, did you ever imagine that you would be the director of Milbank? Because that's wild, right?
But I'm going to tell you a story. The summer of 90, my senior year, I had a falling out with my basketball coach at the time. I guess I had hit my plateau or whatever. I had, reached the level I was going to reach basketball-wise, but I was already going to college. I was already on that path, so I was good. So we had a big falling out or whatever. And I remember saying, you know what? I don't care if I ever play basketball again. I'm on my way to college. I'm going to graduate, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take your job. I remember saying that in front of Milbank. I will never forget that. That was my line. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to college. You know what? And I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take your job. And maybe it was in my subconscious, because every summer I came home. I had the opportunity to work in the Youth Development Services Program. That's what we called the TEAM program back then. And I worked for 2 years at JP Morgan Chase. And then that third summer, I worked at Milbank as a counselor. And that's what shaped me, where I felt that I needed to be in my community, right? I felt the corporate life for 2 years. It was good. Money was great. Nice lunches. Ate in the cafeteria at JP Morgan. It was nice. But it was something about working with the young people in my community that gave me a push and said, you know what? This is probably where I need to be. And then as I studied in college, I studied social psych in college, and it was kind of bringing back, I understood the why of the behavior of some of myself, my peers, my family, and it kind of connected to me that this is where, I wanted to be.
Casper, that is so awesome. I love hearing that, kind of your experience and how that's shaped where you are right now. Can you speak to, in addition to kind of basketball and some of the other supports, how did the experience at Children's Aid at Milbank kind of solidified that yearning that you had to want to be helpful to young people, to want to get into this career that you've embarked on?
So I think the one summer that I worked with, we called them tweens. That was our middle school group. I just connected, with them. I was about maybe 18, 19. I wasn't too far away with them age-wise. So I just connected with them, and it was working with the folks, the young people that nobody else wanted to work with. I just found that I had a connection with them. I could calm them down. I could make them laugh. And it just felt right for me to kind of do what folks did for me, help, guide, show them that they had an opportunity, show them a better way. So, I just was hooked on that. Once I learned that I can connect to young people, it just fell into line. And like I said, once I combined it with what I was studying in school, and it just worked out for me because I really got to understand the behavior of a lot of people that I grew up with, and I understood why they had to do some of the things that they did. And I understood why some of the kids were behaving the way they were behaving. I couldn't be judgmental anymore because I understood it. And I wanted to fix it. I wanted to help it. I wanted to make it better. So it was just being there and just being successful with helping young people. It just felt really, really good.
So, we have an internal kind of understanding or joke about you where we just say, if nobody wants to do it, we give it to Casper, whether it be the most difficult program, the most under-resourced situation, and we're like, he's going to work his magic. And I hear what you're saying, that you understand the context, but you make a choice to always say yes. You say yes to everything. And I want to get a sense of where that comes from, because we have people that have been in the program for a long time and they're a little more tentative, but you lean in. I've sent young people your way and staff your way that have not been successful in other places. What is it like? Where'd you learn that?
Probably, I think I get a lot of that from Doc, just taking any opportunity to bring resources to Milbank, to my young people. I think that's what it is for me. I'll try something new because it's something different. That's just me. I just always look for something different and to give my young people exposure, to give them an opportunity, to find that one gift in a young person. When we brought the music program in, when I first moved over to Milbank, kids were thinking about music. They all wanted to play ball. Kids like computers. But I said, listen, I'm bringing free music classes here. And I was able to connect young people who were not focused on anything. Say, all right, try playing the drums. Kids learn how to play drums. It was things like that. When you try unique things that are a little bit different, you have an opportunity to help a young person find their gift. And that's really what it's all about for me. And in terms of staff, I just love developing people, man. And my motto is, if you look good, I look good. So the more that I develop people and give them an opportunity, you shine, we all shine. That's my motto. And I love seeing people, start at Milbank and get a shot at their own site or their own program. It just makes me feel good. I sit back and just look and be like, yeah, I'll just be proud, man. And I just love helping people and seeing people grow. Again, folks did that for me. I just want to pass it along. I know I'm not going to be here forever, but I just want to make sure that the legacy is in place and that folks knew that I always had their back when it was good, when it was bad, because it's not always been rosy and rocky. For me, there was definitely some challenges along the way where people didn't understand my style and didn't get it, but eventually they got it and they kind of understood the culture that I developed at Milbank, and they decided to finally jump on the boat. But there was those that couldn't understand it and got off the boat, and that's fine with me, because whatever decision that I make, it's always going to be about the kids. It's kids first. What's best for the young people? What's best for the families? And that's my motto, and that's my philosophy, and that's about leadership. My leadership is based on the success of the team and how good they're doing.
Yes, that's beautiful, Casper. Reflecting on your time at Children's Aid, what advice would you give to young people coming up in the program? That's part one. And then part two, what advice would you give to our young staff that are thinking of getting on this career path?
Right. So to the young people, once your foot is in the door, I could honestly say you're good. The staff, the resources that we have at Children's Aid, you're good. Listen to us. Let us guide you. Let us help you get to the next level. You're not going to find too many organizations with the resources and the connections that we have in children's aid. So take advantage of that. As I said before, if we're on you, listen. We're doing it for a reason. We're pushing you for a reason. We're going to protect you. We're going to advocate for you. We're always going to have your best interest in mind. So let us do the work. Let us open that path so you can be successful. For the staff, be yourself. Everyone has a unique gift, right? And don't be afraid to show it. If you have a path similar to the young people, don't be afraid to share it. You broke down some walls. Let the young people know how you did it. We take those hits for the next generation. You're not going to connect with every young person, and that's okay. And Sandra, remember Angel, what he said, right? At the training, all of our kids. And that's the mentality that you have. If I can't do it, I know that my staff person next to me is going to back me up. They may have the best relationship with that particular young person. Don't take that personal. It's going to take a team effort, when we're working with young people, especially in this time and age where they have so much information and they don't need to rely on us as much. So we're adjusting how we approach working with young people. Back in the day when I was running a teen program, I opened a building at 6:00. I got 60 to 70 teens, 30 here doing this, 20 here doing this, or just 10 just walking around the building, but they were in a safe space. Nowadays, we have to find how to connect to them in this digital age where they have access to everything. So it's trying to make that adjustment as well. And I am relying on a younger staff to kind of help me out, right? Because I'm sitting there fumbling with things. Gen X, we're a little bit different. So I'm relying on my young staff to lead the way. I mean, when we were working through COVID, it was a young staff that were coming up with all these creative ideas to do, via Zoom with the young people. And I loved it. It was their opportunity to shine. So that's my advice to the young staff. Be yourself and teach us, help us get there. We're a team. We're going to utilize your new skill set. Help us help the young people and the families.
I mean, I love the learning stance that you always take, this idea that you can learn from anyone. And I do want to add, you are a fellow social worker who really draws on a lot of the social work pedagogy and principles. And I was just wondering, right, given your role as someone who's come up, right, and learned in real time some of those skills, and also from your perspective as a social worker, what are some of the things that you feel like the field is contending with right now that's keeping you up at night, that you feel like we have to sharpen? You talked a little bit about just the generational stance, but is there anything else that's bubbling up for you as like, we got to figure out how to be on the forefront of this idea or solving this problem?
Yeah, technology and social media, we have to figure that out. How to engage young people differently. What we're trying to do now is trying to bring in a lot of STEM programming and programming that they could utilize via social media, via the internet, because the days of just them sitting in groups and us talking to them directly is kind of phasing out. You are losing young people in a sense by just doing regular groups. So we're trying to jazz it up a little bit and add in a little more technology to our lessons, more fun activities, more skill building activities to our programming to meet the young people where they are. And I think that's what's most important, that we probably have to make more of the adjustment and kind of catch up to what the young people are involved in. I think that's probably where we need to go to kind of meet them where they are in this new technical world.
So, Casper, knowing you, I know how much time and energy you invest in what you do. I know for you, this is not just a job, it's a mission, it's a purpose, it's your life's journey. We have lots of staff who are equally invested. First, how do you kind of get yourself centered and how do you take care of yourself? Because, we see lots of challenges with our young people and with our families. And what advice would you give our staff about self-care, how to go about taking care of themselves while also giving so much to our clients?
I focus on this a great deal in the beginning, every orientation, just letting folks know that before you can do any work with the kids, before you can help anyone, you have to make sure that your stuff is in order, that you're in a great headspace. The kids will know. Your colleagues will know. I will know, right? So we had that bridge before you walk into Milbank. And I say, listen, leave your stuff over the bridge. When you come in for those 3 hours, let the kids be an inspiration to you. Let the kids be a motivation for you to be successful, because we owe that to them. We're in this job to kind of help our young people become successful, and they trust us. We build relationships with them. The families trust us. So use them as a motivation, because it definitely helps me. When I'm having a bad day, I'll just get up and go in the gym and just hear the Mr. Caspers and the hugs. I'm good for the rest of the day. So you just letting people know, just focus on yourself first so you can give your all for those 3 hours that you have per day. And if you need to take a walk to get it together, that's okay, right? If you need to come in my office and just have 5 minutes and just talk, I'm here for that. It's okay. But our primary focus is making sure that our young people are engaged, they're safe, and they're having fun.
That's awesome. I think that's really good advice, Casper. I was talking to my team today about exactly that. When you go on the airplane, as part of the safety measure, they always ask you to put your mask on first before you help anybody else. And so it's something we have to continue to remind our staff to do as they face all the challenges ahead of us.
But I think it's important that I let folks know that some folks see the job that we do, especially for you guys who are young, that it's just an after-school job, that you're just here watching kids. I let everyone know how important, their role is, and you're helping shape someone's life. You're creating last-long memories. How many alumni come by and just say thank you, right? These are folks that I was working with 20 years ago that still have a connection to Milbank and the staff and the programs that help save their lives. So just letting folks know that you're very, very, very important when you're working with these young people. So just kind of take that into consideration. With every move you make, they're watching you, they're listening to you. And this is a lifelong relationship that you're creating with these kids and families. So just keep that in consideration.
One of the things that I know you're known for is to be able to see people and to make them feel like they're important. So thank you for that, because I think that's a special gift that you have. I want us to transition a little bit. We're going to do our rapid fire questions, and you're not going to overthink them. There's no right or wrong answer. So what's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your least favorite color?
Red.
What inspires you the most?
Seeing people that I touch do better, seeing people that I touch grow, see people around me grow and develop. I like passing on and leaving legacies. That's what motivates me and makes me feel good.
I love that. What discourages you the most?
What's discouraging me the most now is probably the state of our country. And with some of these policies that the effect it'll have on the work that we do and the people we serve, it's hard for me to kind of understand what's going on. But I know in crises, that's when agencies such as ours step up to the plate to support and advocate for our families. So that's just really discouraging to me, that we have to put on an extra shield to protect our families with just unnecessary policies that I think that are going to be totally unfair for our population.
Yes. Now, what is the mantra or quote that you live by?
A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, it's how many leaders you create.
Yes. What sound or noise brings you peace?
I think I start using the ocean waves with my Alexa. So that helps me relax. I'm a Pisces, so I love water. I don't like going to the beach, but I love water.
I love that. And what sound or noise do you find unsettling?
Kids crying. Especially when you're in this building. My radar goes off when I hear a scream or yell or kids crying, so I automatically go into protect mode. Even at home, now that I'm raising a 3-year-old, but hear crying, my alert is up. So yeah, it's like when you've been doing this for so long, that's kind of one of the things that you look out for and you don't want to hear.
Yes. Now, if I could snap my fingers and you would zoom into another career or job just for a day, what would that be?
Oh, definitely. As an actor. I did 3 plays in college. I did plays in middle school. College, I was a theater, double major, social psych theater. So I would want to be an actor.
I love that. We got to make it happen.
Exactly. It's not too late, Casper.
I could play someone's uncle now.
Now tell me, what is a career or a role that you think like you would be allergic to? Like you would say, I would never do that.
I don't know. Maybe a politician. Some people say I would be good at politics, but I don't think I could do it.
Unless you're acting.
I couldn't stomach some of that stuff. So no,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't do politics.
I hear you. And then the final rapid, not so rapid question rounds. If you could share just one message with the world about the impact of children's aid, what would it be?
Commitment.
Mm.
You have so many resources that could elevate you and take you to the next level. And that's from cradle to college. So I am an example of that. So I could preach that. And
Uh,
that's really the foundation of my work. Just using every resource that we have to combat on what's going on outside those doors to help our young people succeed. And really support their families as well, because it's a team effort when we're working with our young people.
Casper, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been magical.
You are so inspiring, Casper. Just you being you. Much love, my friend.
I want to thank you two as well for taking the time out of your busy schedules to sit here with me and laugh and joke and talk and help us spread this beautiful message of Children's Aid. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure, Casper. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like Casper is the poster child for children's aid, right? We talk about the impact of our work, and I really do think we're in the seed planting industry, and he has had the benefit of all of our services, and look how beautiful he's blossomed and the water that he's given to other people. Like, it's really extraordinary.
It is listening to Casper speak, I get goosebumps like every time. He's such a beautiful soul and so committed and so willing to go above and beyond. He is such an example of, to your point, Sandra, when we plant the right seeds and we nourish them, how they can grow and blossom into just amazing human beings. And I'm so glad that he's at Children's Aid and he is taking everything he's learned and pouring into all the young people that are walking through the doors at Milbank. What a incredible gift to have him at Children's Aid.
Absolutely. And he really does walk in purpose. He sees this as his life's work. And when you go to Milbank, you can feel that in the air. Like, you could feel that people are committed to making a difference in the lives of each other. And that's why I feel like he's magic. And I think that so is Milbank.
Absolutely. It's such a special place. I walked into Milbank this morning and just got greeted with so much love. And you can't help when you walk through that door to just feel so welcome and so secure when you're there, because the staff under Casper's leadership just makes you feel like, they are the ray of sunshine on your face. It's just amazing to have that experience. And I can't imagine for 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds or 7-year-olds that are walking through the door to get programming, how myself as an adult, how I felt. Like, I can only imagine for the younger kids, how wonderful they must feel to have that outpouring of love and just joy that they pour into everybody. That's because of Casper and what he does and how he shows up and how he leads his team.
That's right. That's right.
So I'll ask you a question, Sandra. What has it meant to you to have these conversations with folks like Casper?
I've got to tell you, it makes me really proud to be at Children's Aid. I've been here almost now 9 years. I'm approaching 9 years. And it was after I had, I'd taken a hiatus in my career because I had a young child and I just wanted to be a consultant. And the reason I came back into the world of work full time was because the folks at Children's Aid made me want to kind of get on board and really begin to work towards the mission. And I am really happy that I made that choice and that I get to meet and work with folks like Casper every single day. I mean, how lucky are we, Georgia?
Unbelievably lucky. And like you, I'm so proud and just overjoyed to be here. I've had lots of jobs in my career, but I've not felt before like this is a place where I need to be. And I need to be here because the folks that are here are just incredibly committed. They go above and beyond like it's nothing. they advocate for themselves and the children and family in a way that just makes me so proud to be affiliated with Children's Aid and to be a leader here. It's just been an incredible ride. And I look forward to us continuing to have more of these conversations. They have been inspiring to me and such incredible motivation.
Yeah, same.
Great. Thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Every Step of the Way.
Thank you for tuning in to Every Step of the Way, the official podcast of Children's Aid. We hope you enjoyed learning about our programs and the incredible impact we're making together. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Stay inspired by visiting our website at children'saidnyc.org and following us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and X at Children's Aid NYC, and on YouTube and LinkedIn, go to Children's Aid NYC. There you'll find more success stories, updates on our programs, and ways to get involved. Thank you for listening.